Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about the next massive evolution in being found online. Seriously, this is a shift that's flipping the script on what it even means to have digital visibility.
So before we jump into the nuts and bolts, I want you to just ask yourself this one question. Is your content, all that stuff you've worked so hard on, is it actually ready for AI? Because trust me, the way people find information is going through a huge, seismic shift right now.
Okay, let's just dive right in. For decades, the entire game was about keywords, right? You type a few words into a search bar and boom, you get a list of links. But that world is fading, and it's fading fast. People are now having actual conversations with AI tools, asking really complex questions and expecting a single perfect answer. This isn't just some small update, It's a total rewrite of how we behave online.
And when user behavior changes that dramatically, it creates a whole new search landscape. Which means, of course, that we all need a new map to figure out where we're going.
And that new map? Well, it's called Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO for short. Just think of it as the brand new playbook. It's a strategy that's built from the ground up to make sure your content doesn't just show up on another list, but that it actually becomes part of the AI's answer. So you're probably thinking, okay, but how is this really different from the SEO I already know? And that is the perfect question. To really get it, you've got to see them side by side. This is where it all clicks.
With the SEO we're all used to, the goal has always been pretty straightforward, right? Get to the top of the page. It was a race to be number one on that list of blue links, and you just hoped and prayed someone would click on yours.
GEO just flips that whole idea on its head. The goal isn't to get on a list anymore. The goal is to be the answer. Your information, your data, your brand, it gets woven directly into the response that the AI gives the user. See the difference? You're no longer a link to the answer, you are the answer.
In this slide right here, this is the whole story in a nutshell. It just lays out the new rules of the game so clearly. Over on the left, you've got old school SEO, targeting search engines, obsessing over keywords, all for the goal of ranking. But on the right, you have GEO. You're targeting AI engines. You're focusing on what the user really means, their intent, and the goal is simply to be the answer. It's a massive shift from just mechanics to true meaning. So how in the world does this actually work? It sounds kind of like magic, but it's not. It's all powered by a combination of two really amazing technologies, and you got to understand them to really win in this new world. Let's break down the two core pieces that give GEO its power, the tech that lets it understand what we're actually asking for, and then respond with something that feels, well, human.
So, first up is something called natural language processing, or NLP. This is basically the understanding part of the machine. NLP is what allows an AI to grasp all the nuance and the real intent behind our messy, human way of talking. It's what helps it see that when someone types best beginner workout, they're not just looking for keywords. They're a real person, maybe a little nervous, looking for safe and effective advice. Now, the second piece of this puzzle is Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG. And look, if NLP is the engine for understanding, then RAG is the engine for fact-checking. This tech is what pulls real-time, verified information from trusted sources to build the final answer. It's what stops the AI from just making stuff up and makes sure the response is grounded in real, accurate, up-to-date data. And for you, this is how your great content gets found and used.
Okay, so we've got the what and the how, but how do you actually do this? How do you put GEO into practice? Well, it's not random. It's a really clear four-step approach.
And here's the entire workflow right here. It all starts with ideation. This is where you use data to figure out the real questions your audience is asking AI. Then you move to generation, where you create amazing content that perfectly answers those questions. Step 3, integration, is so important. This is where you technically prepare your content so those AI engines can understand its meaning and trust its facts. And finally, you optimize for distribution, making sure your answers are everywhere the AI is looking. It's a full circle, from insight all the way to impact. So let's get down to it. Why does any of this really matter? Why should you be scrambling to figure this out right now? Because honestly, the stakes for any business, any brand, any creator online today, they are incredibly high.
Look, adopting GEO isn't just about trying to keep up. It's about getting way ahead of the curve. You get seen in a whole new way, right inside the AI's answer. That builds this incredible trust with users because you've become the source of truth. It puts you in perfect alignment with how people are actually looking for information today. And all of that adds up to one thing, a massive competitive edge.
And this quote from our research really just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't some small trend we're talking about. The choice to adapt to this new reality, well, it could literally be the difference between a business thriving in the years to come or becoming completely obsolete, totally invisible in this new AI-driven world.
So, as we wrap this up, I really want to leave you with one final question to think about for your own work. In this new landscape, are you still just making content that links to answers? Or are you creating content that's so good, so clear, and so valuable that it can actually be part of the conversation? Because the future, it belongs to those who become the answer.
You don't need to navigate this alone. Visit Content Master to use our AI agents do it for you at a fraction of cost.